What the newspaper? I'm trying to get us on the YouTube. I hope it works. Okay. um, you're back on the Vintage Talk Show, and we're on to newspaper headline reviews. Alex, are you with me?
Yes, I am.
Yeah, loud and clear. Let's start with the nation. Mr. T will rejoin. He's having issues with his old school style stuff over there. The nation leads with banks now free to fix forex rates. That's from the CBS. The World Bank, Western Union, others raw now pay in naira. Hmm. Hmm. Cardoso says Nigeria attracted over $1 billion inflows in 2 weeks. Wow, that's cheering news. Says reforms yielding positive results. No more loans to federal government until outstanding is paid. I like that. Insisting that all the payments, all this stuff taken in loans taken in 2023 must be uh, settled before they are given any other. How do you see this CBN new activism, so to speak?
Well, I'll just say wait and see because in the past couple of months or so, there's been a great crisis in the forex market.
Mm,
The demand for the dollar has been on a very high level, and it has put a lot of pressure on our banking systems. Uh, you find companies who need dollars urgently to purchase raw materials abroad. You find them scrambling all around. And unfortunately, we find that the dollars are not available. In spite of this
mm,
story of the CBN saying that there's been a massive provision of the forex currency, my fear is there's so much corruption in official circles and that the CBN has not been able to curb it. You have a lot of people who are insiders, both at the various banks, who are not giving out these dollars. Rather, they are round tripping the dollar. And what we mean by round tripping is they're keeping it for themselves and exchanging it at a rate that benefits them instead of giving it to the bona fide people who need it for industry and other things. I put a post up on Facebook. I said there has to be a way to reduce our attraction to the dollar. Why is it that we are so crazy about this foreign currency? You see, our focus on it alone has made the demand for it very high, and the supply is not as available as it should be. And that's why you see the Naira taking a serious bashing. At least it's one of the main reasons. So I'll wait and see. And although I must say, I don't really have hopes for now because the demand from all manner of people, whether they need the currency or not, is so high. There's a group of people now who are saving their money or keeping their money in forex because they have no trust for the naira. They're just keeping it. So that's what we have going on.
Okay, thank you. That's coming, gentlemen. Miss. Welcome. Good morning. Ola Olutubosun Oshifowora, our legal expert. Good morning.
Good morning, sir. Good morning, Mr. Alex. Good
Morning,
morning.
my
I'm
brother.
fine.
You're welcome.
Yes.
Good morning. This the next story on the nation says Afcon tragedy. Late Deputy Bursa wasn't football fanatic. Saints colleague says his death was an act of God. Anambra community in shock. Twins over death of billionaire's son. And then the fifth man dies Afcon watching Afcon semi-final. You know, and they have the pictures of all the poor people that we know. The chief, the university boss, and the Dr. Cairo, and the young man, Johanna, the cover, they all died. I mean, looking at it, the ironical part, um, perhaps if they are football fanatics, like people who are used to frustrations, like Arsenal fans, Chelsea fans,
Good fact. We will sue you.
who for used to, and recently Chelsea fans, but long-standing people, long-standing sufferers, like the Arsenal fans, they are used to this thing. They are not likely to have any they got rest there. So, what is okay? One way or the other will go. This one chose the beautiful game uh, to go. Sad, but can you blame God? Well, let's go on to Saturday Punch. It leads with one of the major stories in all the newspapers. EFCC declares Emefiele's wife, three others wanted. Commissioner accuses the ex-CBN governor's wife, others of money laundering and economic sabotage. Well, in fact, there will be others involved. Uh, Bottom,
Sir.
is it a vicarious punishment or the woman has something to answer?
No, I think from what I read, I think they are. It's not a case of vicarious liability now. It's a pure case of conspiracy and accessory to crime. That's basically why they are looking for them, because the allegation is that there are some funds that are in possession of these people illegally and that came from the main suspect, which is the former CBN governor. So, by implication or by extension, they are trying to get them to be a part of the ongoing investigation and court cases. And I think these people are on the run. That's why they have been declared wanted.
Hmm. Hmm. I don't. Will Emefiele's wife be on the run? You can't leave your husband there. Abi, would she be on the
Ah, Uncle Fad, we have seen all kinds of things lately. And it
There's
could
a
be planned.
saying. There's a saying that only the guilty are afraid. if she
Mhm.
has if she has nothing to hide, why is she on the run?
in Nigeria? It's not only those that are afraid of because they can they can rope you to do Nigeria. You can't use that in Nigeria. Everybody to be afraid of. Hmm. Okay. Anyway, let me post two interesting Saturday um, headlines from the Saturday Punch. One says um, different strokes. The sex-starved Rivers women take to the streets. Uh, you can see the rest of the
Now that
but
is
you
a
have to give me
Saturday story.
that says a 90-year-old physics professor says, how would my wife chocolate in 1966. Imagine that. Chocolate. Today's old, it's caviar and cognac and all
Now,
that.
why?
And the last one says, our doctors collected fried rice, chicken before releasing Ekiti pupils and all that. That's the teacher's
Wow.
husband. He's, he's he's getting bizarre day after day. Wow. Let's start with the Mr. T, welcome back.
Thank you,
Let's
Frank.
wrap up.
Thank you.
It says Tinubu signs Electricity Act Amendment Bill into law. Regulation mandates GENCO, that's the generation company, power generation company, to vote 5% of their annual expenditure for host communities development. Marking the signs for your electricity regulatory commission bill into law. This thing, is there something to fear? You know, Alex, fear is everywhere. Is there something to fear in Tinubu's signing into law this amendment bill of the Electricity Act?
Well, I believe there's a concern about trying to drive the development in that area. You know, in earlier programs, we've stated that we are underproducing. The generation level is very low. The law practically says you can now produce at state level as long as you're willing to contribute to the national grid. They're allowing states and, where possible, private organizations to also invest. So I think there's a concern to try and drive up the generation level. Right now, sadly, we only have about 4 to 5,000 megawatts available for the whole of Nigeria. And at a given time, the discos can only distribute about 4,000. It's a very sad situation because even the whole 4,000 is not enough for a state like Lagos. So you can imagine we require at least 1,000 megawatts to every million people you have in a nation. That's the standard. My fear is that beyond just signing a bill, we need to get an agency on board that would drive the process, you know, actually ensure that when organizations or states engage in this, they do it properly and they are more organized about it. Merely signing a bill, I'm afraid, may not really get us the targets we need and light up the country like we like it to happen.
Thank you. Let me quickly add this from Saturday Telegraph. Their lead story. It says, I think they got views of Olubadan, Oluwo, Obi, and others. Why monarchs are targets of kidnappings, killing. It's unusual, worrisome, embarrassing. Some of their kickers shows disdain for traditional institutions. And one another says, it's properly installed, become Orisha. Kidnapping diminished as tools. It's the olden days. Mr. T is in here. In the olden days, you hardly hear people challenge the authority or the of a monarch, especially in the southern part that we are familiar with. You can't even challenge him facially or physically, abducting him, kidnapping him, killing him, and all that. You know, Flash Ekejorisha, the second in
Yeah.
command, mighty. But this, they are insinuating that some of them are not properly installed or properly uh, coronated. So they're losing their Orisha power, so to speak.
You know, you know something, Faj. It's quite interesting. I was going to start my response or begin my response with the Igbakeji Orisha mythology, so to speak. In those days, you cannot desecrate on that stool. They call it desecration of the stool. And I remember very well, as a matter of fact, to pass by the palace itself, you had to reroute your turf. Over time, you are right about the respect. This respect for the stools dwindled, probably due to the way installations of coronations were made in those days, and the fear that, in fact, government became slightly more powerful. So people before they were the go-to persons, they go-to offices to settle quarrels in the community. Obas had a place, a pride of place. We lost it. But it doesn't answer for why they would be, handpicked and assassinated and removed. It's a tough one. I cannot fathom it. I know that it is only peculiar to a particular part of the culture of Southwest, particularly because of what's been happening in recent times. I believe there is a very urgent need not only to raise issues around documentaries around how the obas are actually elected and things, make it good, make a historical documentation. But people should also know that obas they have lives. Like, why would you remove them? It's tough. And I remember here we have talked about the falling standards of the family social platforms. People have lost their essence. They have lost their reasonings. There's something peculiar. There's a virus going on where people take people's lives for just for anything. And the statement they are trying to make now, I don't get it. I honestly don't understand it. But the law enforcement must rise up now. It's not because the obas are involved. It's now getting very, very unheard of. And when it begins to affect people's power, then I'm sure we'll be waking up to our responsibilities generally. It's not only policing alone. For those things to be happening, I'm going to land this finally. For those things to be occurring in those areas, there is some connivance. It's from the base. It's from the base. You can't have youths come from the eastern part of Nigeria to do that. I'm sorry, I have to go geographical now, or tribal, to perpetrate that in the West. It's tough. It can't be done. It has to be done by people on ground. So there's something really going on. Right? There's they have actually, there's a decay going on. The youths are involved. They are younger people, and with the influx of rampant use of drugs these days, nobody corrects anybody. It's just, it's not looking good for me. It's almost like a ghetto life now. That's the way I look at it. And something has to be done fast. Something has to be done fast. It's bad. It's not welcoming at all. Obas are institutions. We still respect them. And when it begins to happen this way, everybody begins to run away from occupying the stool. Well,
Wow. Thank you, Mr. T. Thank you, Mr. T. We'll take a short break. We'll come to the end of the headline reviews. We'll take a short break and come back and do something. We will talk sports. I don't know if Alex will be left lonely, so to speak. But we'll talk sports before we have our talking points on our departed world. Before then, let's take this from them. Say me and you.
we're offline.
Huh?
I mean, we're off. The mics are off. transmission.
An AFCON break around 8:30. So I want us to
Okay.
shift the rejig the schedule a bit.
Okay. Okay.
Talking
Uh,
about your impression of Super Eagles so far, the performance so far. When
okay.
we come back, has joined our triumphant trail now.
I think we should look on the brighter side, though, in case we have people listening in who are still high up on the high pressure thing.
So let's look on the brighter side
On the
because
brighter
people
side.
may be able to watch.
No, but
Well,
if there's anything this victory has done for Nigerians is to distract from the economic realities. I think it's the government that is the biggest beneficiary of this win.
yeah,
And you know something. I don't know if you can recall. Anytime we have a very charged football competition of this nature, in the past as well, we've always been having underlying social problems. And at
yeah.
that
Mhm.
time when it's taking place, yeah, we tend to forget those things. And after the competition, whether they beat us, they don't beat us, whether we fall out, you don't fall out. We're coming back to share those times again.
Absolutely true. 93, the whole election, and
93.
then 94 we won.
Yeah, very correct. Yes, I think. Hey, everybody's feeling. Yeah. The network has not been favorable at all today.
Yeah,
Or-
the especially the audio. I hear breaks as we're speaking.
Yeah. Aha.
But it's smooth one from the headline I have. It's going smoothly.
Okay, that's from the studio end. Yes. Okay. Faj, the studio, do they have Jimmy Sholanke's song, Babagba?
I will
Which of
check.
the Babagba, I think, and used to have a Jekajo.
Hmm.
That's a very long time piece.
Oh,
Yeah.
Jimmy, I remember growing up watching his programs on NTA.
90.
Yeah, wow.
I grew up watching Storyland.
I'm sorry. Yeah. Yeah. The storyteller. The
Unfortunately,
story-
there is no these are millennials. They don't have anything like that.
but
Let me
that's
know.
bad.
He did Tunjo Yolano.
He did a piece with Tunde Ilana, really.
With
Um,
Wale Soyinka.
yeah, that's
I
the
love my country. I know good
I don't
life.
Mhm.
go lie. Yeah, what was it there?
Mhm.
Okay. Yeah, okay.
There's Tunjo
Yeah.
Yolano, but there's no one with Jimmy Solanke.
Which of the tracks do they have there? Can you quickly go through? Which of the tracks do they have?
For Oyolano.
No, for Shoyinka.
Soyinka.
Soyinka.
Ah, oh, I miss my radio. I miss my radio days badly.
Yeah,
Yeah, there's a track. He sang one piece with Johnny
on there.
Hastrop.
I'm going
Okay,
back on
all
gentlemen.
right.
Oh, that's me and you by 10. Earlier, remember General Pie, we did champion. Don't talk about the AFCON, African. Cup of Nations ending tomorrow in Abidjan with the Super Eagles facing the, what do they even call themselves? Uh, are they Terrestrial Lions? No, that's Africa. What do they call this? African people? I forgot. Okay, whatever. You remember we beat them 2-0 during the group stage.
Yeah.
Now they are like cat with nine lives. Almost at the end of being qualified, they qualified. Almost at the end of being pushed out of the round of 16, they sailed through. Almost have been dismissed at the quarterfinal stage. They sneaked through. The semi-final by force fire, they sneaked one way or the other. They just found a way of getting, and now we are facing them again. What's your impression so far? Let me start with Alex. You see, Alex's impression about the Super Eagles performance so far.
Well, I must say I've not really been impressed by the performance. Each time in recent times, whenever we analyze our football team, the Super Eagles, we always refer to the 1994-96 uh, level that we had, where we had some very great players. I'm not saying we don't have great players now, but the world really looks at the Super Eagles at that period and acknowledged that they have a lot of quality on their side. We played the World Cup and we won the gold, I believe, at Los Angeles '96. That was really
Atlanta.
when we had,
Atlanta.
okay,
Atlanta.
Atlanta. Yeah,
Atlanta.
thanks
Atlanta.
for the correction. And that was really when Nigeria's name went on the map of football all around the world. Because, I mean, we beat a team like Brazil. It was amazing, and nobody expected it at that level. But what we've seen so far, in my opinion, at the AFCON has been a it's been a game of chance, really. I don't see the domination and the forthrightness we used to have uh, at that level of football. But I dare say, going forward, I wish the Super Eagles well. It would be good to for us to be African champions once again. I dare
Mm.
say we deserve it. One major thing we have to do is get our football administration straight.
Mm,
Uh,
mm,
I don't
mm,
I don't really like how the home ground has been ignored, where you just look abroad mainly for people who are going to play in the team, and you neglect the home ground. We need to
mm.
really grow our football at the domestic level so that we can really have our choice of players here to play at the national level. So that's the way I see it.
Thank you, Alex. For someone I thought was not too much inclined towards football, your analysis is top notch. But we are impressed about how we got. I didn't have that much. Cosero, I was so shocked when they changed the formation. I said, where is this guy collecting? Somebody's giving him notes. Pass notes to him. I understand it's close to for you. I said, maybe somebody's passing notes to this guy because first, that again. This man suddenly has gotten brain to, from nowhere. But Bosun, how do you see our performance so far?
Yeah, fantastic. I would disagree slightly with Mr. Alex because, well, if you say for the kind of talents we used to have during the mid 90s and the late 90s, well, maybe this set they don't match up to such talent. But there's something with these boys which has been lacking for over a decade. Their commitment. The
Mm.
Yeah.
commitment level of these boys is different from what we used to have some few in recent years anyway, because these ones are so they may not have that Okocha kind of talent or Kanu's
Mhm.
kind of talent, but they're really committed. I mean, we had a set that just used to pride and stroll on the field, and they weren't particular about anything. In fact, I think the set from Mikel Obi down
Mhm.
before this ones, they were just not really committed to anything. But these ones are so committed, and I think the they're very committed. That's what I can give to them. They may not have that top-notch talent, but the commitment is there, the willingness is there, and you can see the desire in them. And I think that is what has, I mean, that's what has kept them on up to this
Yeah.
point. And don't play down their victory. We've beaten big countries. Cameroon is a big name in African football. Angola has stopped us from going for the World Cup. We've beaten Cote
Yeah,
d'Ivoire, the host nation. So then South Africa, I mean, we took our pound of, if we didn't get Grammy, we won this one. So these are big names. These are no pushovers in African football. And even from what we have seen, we saw Cape Verde, we saw tiny countries that up to this time never had any names. Did you see how they trashed Cote d'Ivoire 4-0?
Oh,
You know,
no.
so for yes. So it's there are no pushovers again in football, but even the big names, I mean, you can't say this victory is not deserved. And I pray that we crown it with the cup tomorrow. I mean, that will be, and then, like we said before we came on, it's more of an economic victory because it has a way of distracting us from the realities of dollar and the dwindling economy. So we really need it.
yeah. So even if it's just for 24 hours, let's enjoy this song, and we'll not let people like Alex the spoil our. We're gonna Mr. T.
But,
What's your
but
what?
yeah, you know the interesting thing about this team. Okay, I will start what I read. Somebody wrote a piece recently. I don't know if you got it online. He actually sat down to analyze the composition of the team and said this is the number of people from the east, so some number of people from the west. He gave the statistics, and incredibly brought those numbers together and tied it to the fact that who says Nigeria cannot survive? When on a field of play within 19 minutes, these boys came together and played like a team. And I'm going to, align that with what Bosun said earlier. I saw determination. I saw the Nigerian spirit come back. And I would say that I also want to thank I won't say the administrators because probably the government. Over time, we've had cases where guys will go for this competition and come back and they are yet to pay them their allowances. They are yet to, and it goes on like that for a long time until they pay them. And woe betide, mind my language, if they didn't win the trophy, it's going to be a longer stretch for them to get their allowances. But here, nobody is owing them, according to what we hear. The payment has just been steady. And in the current balance of Nigeria's slope today, money beats everything. There's some level of complacency when those things that need to be given to them are taken away from them or are denied them. So for me, I think honestly, since the boys are together, the whole of the country must stand up for them. I know that Nigerians are used to saying, "Wo bó ṣe gbá ball yẹn, bọ̀bọ̀ yìí ṣé kìí ṣe wèrè báyìí?" Mind it, you understand? And they begin to rain curses. It's not when you go to the viewing centers, you will be shocked about what you hear. And it's like they're actually playing the match themselves and they're actually raining curses and abuses on these guys. And I feel very bad about that. So for me, for the first time, I'm geared up to go Nigeria. I'm geared up because the guys are showing commitment and togetherness and unity. But away from that and beyond that, the government must do something not only about football administration, sports in general. Because listen to me. Economy is one for an African country to control the whole of the continent. But sports, there's just something about it. You may not have anything. Look at all the minors, all of them came out and they did so well. At a point in time, I thought they were going to actually offset everybody, including Nigeria, the way these guys came out to play. They came with verve, determination. And so tomorrow's game for me, it's not going to be a do or die, come on. Because when you say do or die, people also die off the field in watching it. I don't believe in do or die syndrome anymore. Don't do that. Because sadly, as we commiserate with those who have lost people, they are not around to even see tomorrow's match. They are not around to see it. And
Yeah.
it works my head a bit. So let's take it good, fair chair. We were taught in school, win or lose with fair chair. That's the way it's supposed to be. And don't think about what you hear is happening to Nigerians in South Africa. Don't think about it because that's not the way to go. Leave it and let's see how they manage their own tough times. For us, we are winning that trophy. We are going to bring that trophy home. And as we win it, the economy will be balanced.
Amen. Amen to that.
Will be balanced.
My very exuberant and all that. There are only people I know that they will be in the stadium surrounded by Ivorians and they will be abusing them because they assume that they don't speak English. And
Yeah.
them, especially when we score first and all that. Don't provoke, don't antagonize, just enjoy the show. Clap a
Yeah.
little and just stop clapping, stop laughing. Don't make fun of them. I want us to have, we don't want any BP match. Just first half, back, one goal. Second half, back, two goals. Then
Then
we have to
defend. Then defend. Then you defend.
There's going to be a lot of pressure on the Nigerian team. I believe they'll be able to carry it. I know the supporters will be there to cheer them on. But you imagine how it would be for Ivory Coast. They would like to host and win.
That's their own
Yeah.
problem.
They've lost a couple of matches, so they're used to losing in this AFCON. They lost two during the preliminaries. In fact, they came on to this stage, the knockout stage, by I don't know, I think by sheer benevolence of CAP,
Yeah.
because it's
No,
undeserved.
Okay.
no, but it's okay. Just let's beat them fair and square. No, not 98 minutes equalizer and all those. But can be views as excellent, much better than what you see in Premiership. It's
Mhm.
excellent and really quarrel or complain about decisions and all that. Great thing. Thank you, gentlemen. We'll take a short break and come back to pay our obsequies to our fallen compatriots. So we take in the music of Yinka Benny. It says, "It's okay to cry." Yinka Benny featuring Joy Olong. We are talking briefly on. We have about 14 minutes or 13 minutes. We can
Hmm.
complete it or something about Kayode Tijani died
Okay.
on.
Oh dear. Yeah.
Okay.
I
Very sad.
saw the news.
Uh, and the mutual anchor died on the 7th at
Hmm.
81. And Ethel Ekpe also died on the 7th. Ethel Ekpe used to be Segi Bassi and Company.
Oh
In
yeah,
the,
that's right.
oh,
She's the one. I saw. I kept saying. I think I remember this face. She's the one. She's the one. Oh,
Oh dear. Oh dear.
Wow.
I remember. I remember her face. Oh wow. What a season, really. Yeah. What a season.
What about the rest of the crew? Are they still alive?
What is
Banksy and Company?
Yes.
Oh, I don't know.
you mean the
The
Hmm.
rest of the crew. I know there's Zulu Adigwe.
There's
no
Zulu
sir?
Adigwe. Zulu.
Adigwe. No, I don't think Adigwe is in the country.
Okay.
After the death of Cancer, everything just scattered.
Yeah.
And that was a brilliant concept. Fantastic concept.
Lovely sitcom.
You want to
It
be a
was something
millionaire,
everybody looked forward to
think
it.
like a millionaire.
Yeah.
Lovely, lovely, lovely.
I had the opportunity of interviewing Ken Sauriwa shortly before he was, arrested and all that. Man, very brilliant man, uh,
Hmm.
very deep thinking.
Yeah. Wow. Those were days where we had sensible sitcoms.
I think it was more for the writers, though. The writers were good. The writers, yeah, they brought out. I don't know how they
Uh,
did it. They wrote towards perfecting the individual skills and character. You
Mr.
know,
T, we are
because
back.
oh,
Thank you. That was Yinka Benny featuring Joyce Olong. We'll be playing at the background as we speak this moment. It's okay to cry. Um, it has been announced, I'm sure the whole world um, uh, were aware of the passage of the great thespian, inimitable, incomparable, as a dramatic folk singer, creators of sundry children's programs, folk tales, the owner of an artist resort in Iperuremo, Jimmy uh, Olujimi Adeboye Sholake, the director of on the on the 6th of this month at the age of 81. Do you have something nice to talk about him? Do you have something great, inspiring to talk about him? You can call us on 0913-697-3485. I'll try and get some of my colleagues, not this company, I get some of his younger colleagues to speak to his incredible achievements as we go on permits on the program. Uh, the Sri Lanka is more than a master storyteller. He's a dramatist, a poet, a folk singer, playwright, visual artist, also educator, and a writer. It was in the first set of students admitted in 1963 into what he himself called the first school of drama in Africa. Mm. That's the University of Ibadan. So you understand his dexterity and memory career when you consider that he was first and second generation of Africa's major scholar playwright and dramatist. Professor Wole Soyinka Olarotimi, Femi Ojo, Zulu Shokola, Aki Ilba, others. He was he was there. He was there like these roles. Even long before Ibadan, Sri Lanka was a doughty music composer. As a student of second Ikene, he told us that one of Roy Chicago's classics, Koromare, Aradubo, that is only Gogoro, that was actually composed by his precocious teenage self. Let me see whether I can get Gogoro by Roy Chicago. Brilliant. Royal Chicago's or Maria Radugo. He also had jamming sessions with Chris Agilo. You
Mm.
remember him, Chris
Mm.
Agilo, Bagbere, and all
Mhm.
those. He died on February 20th, also in February, uh, 3 years ago, like
Yeah.
2021, at 9. In the late 60s, I mean the early 60s, Sholange found himself in the company of Shoyinka, Ayo, Lijadu, Demas Nwoko, and the Imbari Club around 1961. And theater became his life. In Ibadan, after graduating from the drama school with a drama certificate in 1962, he was he was an always featured poster boy of Shoyinka's plays, including the epochal Death and the King's Horseman. It was part of Nigeria's first homegrown filmic adaptation of Kumbi's Harvest by Ossie Davis and Francis Oladele in 1970. In 19 late 60s, around 1969, he moved from UI to the University of Ife as an associate fellow of the Institute of Cultural Studies, led by Olarotimi. Then he started leading plays. He's always in the leading roles. Started performing leading roles in Rotimi's plays, Kurumi, of Varawen Nogbaisi, The Gods Are Not to Blame, and so on
Mm.
and so forth. In fact, he was detained, so to speak, in Benin City in the 70s when the then military administrator of Midwestern region, um, what's his name now? Brigadier Samuel Ogbemudia,
Bermudia.
was in 2017. After a bewildering performance as Oba Nogbaisi in Rotimi's tragic historical play of Barawa Nogbaisi. He spent the next 3 years setting up the drama, dance, and music sections of the new Midwest Region Arts Council. That's Lanke for you.
Mm.
Does anyone remember when Eddie Grant visited Nigeria for a show
Mhm. Mhm.
in the was it early 80s or late 70s? Um, Uncle Jimmy Sholanke wrote a song for him in Yoruba language. Wipe
Mhm.
Unfair. I don't know if you
Yeah,
know that song.
yeah. Thank you,
If
Alex. Great one. Yes, we pay more fair. And that was, oh Lord, that's a beautiful one. Hi, memories.
okay, let me go with my how will I call it now? Oratory, or is it rhetoric, or is it eulogy? Anyway, in 1977, for the first act, remember the first act 77?
Yes.
It was a dancer at first act 77. Then he traveled to the US, performing in traditional African dresses with his group, the African Review, featuring, he also featured in plays of Femi Oshofuson, Chatrin, and the song in 77. Now, when he came, he returned, I think, in the mid 80s, 1986, about. He as folk singer and inventive creator of several popular children's series on many of our television stations. He created, designed, and presented glorious kid stuff like Children's Scene on WNTV, the precursor to NTA Ibadan, Family
Mhm.
Scene on television in the 80s, Storyline,
Mm.
NTA Network, and then the African Stories on African International Television, AIT.
Let's see.
Tajilu, Eko Bagbere,
Mhm.
who whom Solanke jammed with in the 60s. Well, Sri Lanka was also into music. He composed several. Ejekaju in the beginning, Ashe, stories,
Mhm.
music, magic, Orin Orisha, multiplicity of praise, hidden gold, and once upon a time. Before his demise, he retired to his hometown, Ipara Remo, where he set up a thriving, what would I call it, Center for Creative Performing Arts Enhancement. Spoke to me once about it. I was so enthusiastic about artists having a place to rest and create. Sports are not be hampered by the glitz and razzmatazz of city life or the distraction of city urchins, so to speak, that people can come and have a joyous time creating news with the news and all that. Fantastic place of Nigerian edifice, so to speak. That is Jimmy Sholanke, a true son of Africa, with his huge, huge, how will I call it, baritone voice and those piercing eyes. I read shortly about, I mean, some time ago about Akin Liu's rendition of his first time acting, and then it was opposite Jimmy Sholanke. That he almost withered him, but he peers at him with those large eyes. You
Ah, Uncle Jimmy, Babagba, Babagba,
know,
Uncle Show.
Fond
Ah,
memories, fond memories. Yeah.
he's to me an impresario. He is everything in everything. The voice alone. And you remember this song? I'm sorry. It was recorded for an American artist. I think during his time when he traveled. I think was it Ralph McDonald or so that his voice opened up that track called Onola, the river, Onola, Ola Garagbada, Alejudara, Onotila àárín odò ré kọjá ẹ̀rù òbodò odò ti ṣàn 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 ẹ̀kú omi ṣàn títí ó dá sí àárín ọ̀nà odò lòun lẹ̀gbọ́n ọ̀nà lòun lẹ̀gbọ́n
Ọlọ́run
àti
lẹ̀gbọ́n,
rìn 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 a kò rí
a ò
ẹni sọ
rí
fún wa
ẹni sọ
bóyá
fún wa bóyá
exactly
odò lẹ̀gbọ́n àbí ọ̀nà
it
ní
was wonderful.
ẹ̀rù
I
òbodò.
cherish that. I was active on radio then. It became my opener for most of my programs. I will never forget. The
Ẹ̀rù
path.
òbodò.
Erubodo. Beautiful,
wow.
beautiful. But Uncle Jimmy was just everything. He was everything. He was everything. He was everything.
I like Ejek is a spin-off from Uncle Jimmy's Ejekado.
Hmm.
He did his in the 80s or so.
Yeah.
Alariwo did it in the 2010 or 20 something.
Okay.
And it was nice.
Oh,
It was
Uncle T,
nice.
how can we get that one? The one you just said. I used to remember Radio Lagos. He was a regular.
It was a regular radio. Thank you so much. It was a
I
regular
can
radio.
still recite it. When you were going on, it just brought back memories.
I'm telling you, it was so easy, and for us, it was wow. And you know the very interesting thing when the album was released, and this is a very true narration. When it was released, it took the Nigerian market a long time, probably months, to get to know that that was a Nigerian. I'm not kidding
Mm.
you. Yeah, they didn't project Jimmy Shulanke as the voice until after the full album was released, and then we saw it there. And the interesting thing, we didn't have writers who could explore those things in those days. So when we got it, oh wow, on radio, it was everywhere. Everywhere. It was almost like 6 months down the line, but it was good. It was really good. Oh, and I said, this is drama, this is narration, this is oratory at its best. The Americans couldn't resist it, so they had to ask him to lead. They actually asked him to lead the entry into that music, the path. I think online, I tried it online. I couldn't get it, and that's very interesting. I'm still trying to get one or two people out there to look for it if they can, because it came out in the days of the vinyl when yeah, the vinyl just came and they left like that. So,
Maybe on YouTube or Discog.
oh, Discog, yeah, you introduced me to Discog. Fact, that's true. I've never tried that on Discog, but it's simply the path, yeah, the path.
Mm.
Is that the title of the?
The track. That's the track he sang. He actually, yeah, voiced had a voice for, but I do not know the name of the full album. It was just the path, a reawakening of the African culture or something. Yeah, it was a review. It was part of the African Review project. Yeah, yes, I remember. It was part of the African Review project in the US.
That
Uh,
was the band. Yeah, that
sorry.
was his band, his African Review.
Yeah, there was a project. Yeah, yeah, in America. Yes,
Yes, in
when it was
America, it's the African
when it was in America,
project.
that
Yeah,
was when he voiced. He did that piece for posterity.
like in the beginning.
In the beginning of that track, there was some. No, I think the drums came in, and all of a sudden his voice came in. Onola, you know, and yeah, the percussions followed him, trailed him all through that narration. The percussions were then, and all of a sudden it blew out into big music, and it was beautiful. It was an entry point for me. It was so dramatic, and well, I was proud to be an African because that was just in Nigeria with an American. It was unique for us then as young presenters on radio. It was so unique. America, law, that kind of thing. But Uncle Jimmy was everywhere, and I remember he would come to when Jimmy Odumosu was actually building LTV and LWT. He did some series with LTV then many years back. Would come in to do some for children too. I remember. Yeah, he did some series for them too. It was just everywhere. It was just everywhere, and he was ready to give his time to any interview, for any interview rather, give his time, for anything art, and that I remember. Anytime he walks into the stage or does anything, there's a difference. There's a difference. He's just an impresario for me. He will rock the stage. He will rock a studio. He will create laughter. He will create fun. It was life. It was life in itself. A dull scene will be enlightened by his presence, and that's a reminder. I remembered of him. He was just there. Um, Uncle Jimmy was Uncle Jimmy. He was just simply Uncle Jimmy. No other Uncle Jimmy. you know, he was different. It was different. It was different.
So after this insert, we'll just talk briefly about Kyle Tijani and Ethel before we run up. We'll probably not have much time to do anything else.
and has won decisive sport kicks against Sunday's opponents and in Wednesday's semi-final. With or without scoring, Osimhen's capacity to influence games could aid the Super Eagles' bid for the fourth African title. However, Africans should feel better prepared to take on the Nigerian superstar after the Saints men TP January 18th. The jettisoned Jean-Louis could not react to the game with alterations on the one side to shooting from unfavorable positions when the picked the Nigerian player guard was born to Many thought the end of the elephants after Congo tree,
The
but
elephant.
inside have been
Elephant.
significantly by the
The
intense
elephant.
sport.
Imagine
And that's why
how is the
it's
elephant coming to
the
play
child
ball.
the side before they are going new the qualification phase and the ex Ivory Coast International has
It's just
Elephant in
eh,
Babo.
and defeating Mali in the quarterfinals despite playing the entire second half and an additional 30 minutes in extra time with 10 men. An impressive aspect of this team has been the capacity to respond to setbacks in the knockout stage, having fallen behind with around the 16 and quarterfinal games against the Lions of Taranga and the Eagles, with the latter arguably topping the former because they were short-handed. However, they come into the final after beating the Democratic Republic of Congo in the semi-final, courtesy of Sebastian Harris' strike. The Borussia Dortmund striker was making his first start of the finals, supported by Brighton and Hove Albion attacker Simon Adingra, who netted a late leveler against Man in the semis and appeared to be the difference makers in Sunday's decider. Having lost the previous 2 meetings with Nigeria, the AFCON 2013, eventually won by the Super Eagles, and earlier the ongoing finals, the Elephants seek to end the 2-game Cup of Nations losing run in this West African rivalry to become the 12th host and first since Egypt in 2006 to claim the title on their soil. That's it for the big Super Eagles match center. Up next is a big Super Eagles to watch. But before we go into that, let's take a word from our sponsor. Peak, reach for your peak. It's a Big Super Eagles breakfast show brought to you by Peak. Reach for your peak. The Peak Super Eagles breakfast show will be right back.
I like it. But he deserves all the nourishment he can get. Mama Nketunko, she has such a big heart. She deserves a breakfast that nourish her. And let's not forget my little sister, this Mini, is just her size, but mighty, just like her.
Let's not Peak, Peak, reach. Brought to you player to watch. This dish players to watch. None other than Big Sports. CNN now for the would not this play especially something for his attitude. And Cameroon also he won a penalty against South Africa. Nigeria over the line, and that could be key against Ivory Coast on Sunday. That is the watch. The Eagles out. It's the Eagles breakfast by
But that deserves all the nourishment he can get. Mama Nketunko, she has such a big heart. She deserves a breakfast that can nourish her. And let's not forget my little sister, this sweet Mini, is just her size. Small but mighty, just her.
nourishment for you with the new Peak Mini Pack. Peak, reach for your peak. It's time to dig deep into the Peak Super Eagles. Welcome back. It's still Peak Super Eagles breakfast show brought to you by Peak. You can on our guys. Looking at Africa Cup of Nations. The 1990 Africa Cup of Nations saw the Super Eagles reach the final. Nigeria bounced back with a 1-0 with Egypt, courtesy of a goal from Rashidi Yakini. It was the same as the third match. No goal. And Yakini, Nigeria's award for beating Zambia was a rematch for during the final. However, the result was the same as the Fox won on Afghan you're listening to Freestyle segment, we want to highlight Olaina and Victor's friend. Olaina has been the second child at this best African the most by one to another at an African when Burkina Faso's Charles Kabore created that's it. This is where it goes. The big cerebrals icon social media. So we'll be right back. Friends on the big super action. We're looking at 5 from the yes, I will said we are back in that. So don't let 200 million Nigerian style that there. Hopefully that turns out to be the case on Sunday night. That's it. Media reaction. Pages. Follow us on at Milk on Instagram. With that, we have come to the end of the edition of the Super Eagles Breakfast Show. I hope you enjoyed it. We'll come your way again for another edition of the Big Super Eagles Breakfast Show. That was the Big Super Eagles Breakfast Show. The top to stay. Radio 90.9.
This is a vintage talk show with Femi.
We have 10 minutes to wrap up. Came back. We're back. I will just take this music to flow along as we wrap up. The eulogy to the fallen heroes. There is one from Burner Boy. It says, "How bad could it be?" While that music is playing, the, even as the Nigerian sporting world is agog, anxiety and expectations of victory tomorrow, the sporting fraternity is a mourning of brutal sport archivist. Nowadays, Tijani is dead. He died on Wednesday, the 7th of February, at Lagos State University, teaching out 55 years old.
Oh,
Mr. T, what's wrong with your background? Some cracking sound for your end.
cracking from my end.
Yeah, but it's stop now, like static. I'm going back in.
Okay. Okay.
How they started his love for sports reporting and archiving very young. He started uh, very early in his age, in his teenage years. Then he went on to study at the Nigerian Institute of Journalism in Lagos. And then he joined the Complete Communications Limited, publishers of Complete Sports, Complete Football, and on and on. He caught his teeth under the tutelage of journalism icon or icons, Sonny Ojaibeso. Remember Dr. Sonia
Mhm.
Jadis, of
Yeah.
Frank Ilaboya, and Dr. Mumuni Alao. Actually, I got the first death from Mumuni
Mm.
years ago. Thereafter, he served for many years as the pioneer sports editor of Fame magazine, where he worked with me and others. It was a fantastic thing. He was working, industrious, uh, aggressive in seeking and getting news and all that. Well, on Living Fame magazine, we call it Fame. We used to call it Fame Weekly. Coyote
Mm.
traveled to England with correspondent and sports presenter for an Afrocentric television station, Ben TV. When he returned to Nigeria, he was a private media reporter, which is television sports producer and quite and active on television stage. He traveled very widely all over the world.
Mhm.
For AIT, for his own uh, private concerns and all that. He was everywhere. I mean, Kyle Tijani was phenomenal in terms of
Mhm.
old, hardly seen pictures and visuals and all that. In 1995, he teamed up with two other friends, Ademola Olajire and Adiola Fashola, to launch Spotlight, a daily publication that didn't last too long. Um, it was with Adamu, it was Adamu for the eighth All Africa Games, Koja Abuja 2003. It was in the FIFA World Cup, the Olympic Games, the Africa Cup of Nations, the Commonwealth Games. It was all over the place. Even very active on Facebook and Twitter, now called X. Today, we mourn the death of Kayode Tijani, aged 55, on the 7th of February. May his soul rest in peace.
Amen.
Amen. Amen.
Amen. Amen.
Well, remember the passage. It's getting too much nowadays. Well, remember the passage of that lady. Remember the face. Segi of Basi and according to media reports, also passed on the 7th of February. Ethel was widely known as Ethel. Ethel was Segi of Basi and Company. Remember that early 90s sitcom on television, written
Yeah.
and produced by Sarah Weaver. Um, you guys remember Segi of Basi and Company,
Yeah. Yeah.
which is
One
gone.
of
She's
the
left us.
one of the
Mm,
few faces that lifted the program. Mm.
mm.
It's so
Oh,
sad the way we lose them. For Coyote, I remembered Coyote as a sports guru. He was an encyclopedia of
yeah.
Yeah.
sport, particularly football. He was an exciting interviewee. He loved show coming up on radio and television analysis of matches, and was very good in his analysis. Very few Nigerians have that clout. And I remembered him.
Yeah.
Just ask a question, he gives you the age, the time, the year. It was just there.
Well,
Yeah.
football. It was like a repository, like a library, a walking library of
Mhm.
facts.
Yeah. When you look at what he has achieved, I mean, and you look at his age, you wonder, man, he's
Yeah.
done so much.
So much.
My pain is that he didn't really live to, get to the old age where he can really be appreciated while still alive.
Mm.
Um, I've watched him extensively on radio, listened on radio. I've watched him on TV. And, he was a pioneer of sorts. The Complete Communications, they were the first publication to do an all sporting and an all football publication in Nigeria. And, he joined them and he made a very tremendous impact there. And we're going to remember him for so many things. So many things.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, man. Thank you, gentlemen. Everyone will go this way. We just pray that we as much as possible. But we would pray that when we leave, the world will speak good of us, and will have left a legacy inspiring we are living. The essence of all this is that we live it much better than we met it.
Mhm.
May the Lord give fortitude to all the families uh, of Solanke, Makari Tijani, and FLF, and everyone.
Amen.
May you uh, the balm that can calm your cravings and all
Amen.
by the grace of God. Gentlemen,
Amen.
let's have a lasting parting shots. But I noticed has disappeared. Alex,
Yeah, it's been nice, even though we're ending on a sad note, so to say. But let's go out there and support the Eagles while they play tomorrow. And no matter what we face, let's try and remain positive.
Mm. Mm.
yeah.
Yeah.
Bye bye to your fans.
Goodbye to all our fans, and my word to be that to be calm as they
She has
watch
refused to use.
us tomorrow. And what we should be positive
Okay.
and we support them all the way.
Do you watch football?
Once in a while.
What's
Yes.
okay? What's the final words? Hello, Mr. T. Oh,
Hey,
Mr.
hello. Oh,
T.
sorry, I didn't pick that. Yeah. Thank you all for listening in. It's been nice having you here. But let's end well. Tomorrow, go out and cheer to the Eagles. And remember, life is just a graph. It will fall, it will rise. When it rises, rise with it. Don't fall with it, please. Take care. Bye now.
Mhm. Thank you. As we often say, be nice to people around you every day without faking it. And do good as best as you can afford. Stay blessed and have a great weekend. Victory Aseta tomorrow.